Hello you guys, and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and thank you so much for joining me for today's anti-haul. Every month I show you guys what I'm decluttering, and if you guys are new to the channel and haven't seen any of these before, I'll actually link a playlist down in the description field below. But let's go ahead and get started. This first thing here is my former teacher bag. Now, I know in my Keep This Not That decluttering video, I was talking a little bit about how I had a better bag now that was better suiting my needs and meant I could get rid of several different purses, and this is one of them. This one took me a little bit longer just to deal with and take care of stuff, but so far it's just been a few days and I'm already loving not bringing this, which was honestly pretty full, to and from school each day, especially since it's not really realistic. A lot of what I do is digital and can just be done on the computer that I have at home. So I am getting rid of this. I am getting rid of this shirt. Now, with this particular shirt in mind, I did realize that after a while, I was kind of holding on to it because of financial guilt. I purchased this back in 2016 and I actually purchased it new, which if you've been following the channel for a long time, you know that I rarely buy new clothing. And if I do, it does need to be ethical. So this is a more ethical top. I believe it's 50% organic cotton, 50% recycled polyester. But the truth is, even though I still think it looks nice, I wasn't choosing it. You know, I wasn't choosing to wear this particular shirt. It doesn't mean I didn't like it, but I just wasn't really choosing it anymore. It was more so that I was wearing it just because, oh, I haven't worn this in a while. And it wasn't just making me as happy as ideally our clothes should. So I was definitely holding on to it because I think it was $20, which again, maybe is not that much for clothing, but since most of my stuff is Goodwill and other thrift stores, I'm used to paying like $4 for a shirt. So definitely I think it was tough. I was holding on to it for a while just because I felt that financial guilt, but I recognize it and it's definitely time to let it go. And it's still in pretty good condition, and since it is, you know, partially organic cotton, I think that this will be a nice thing for someone else. This thing here is a little tabletop that was for this nightstand. You'd screw the legs into these pegs or into these spots here, and it was fine for several years. I mean, I just say fine, like it served a basic purpose, but we were definitely, this was our last one. There were 3 originally, and they were very nicely gifted to us. They were something old from my grandparents' house that they do not want anymore, so they said we could have them. And yeah, they serve their purpose, but we gradually have upgraded other things, ironically with a lot more like used stuff for the most part. We had a bigger one that was our coffee table that we switched out. We went to the Habitat for Humanity Restore where they sell some used furniture and it supports Habitat for Humanity. So we bought a much better coffee table there that we like so much better. We also then got another like nightstand thing Jake was using instead of this one for him, and that had been used as well. And then for filming purposes, I know I'm not using it today with the anti-haul, but I have the stool that I've been using for filming, and that also doubles as my nightstand. So I am able to get rid of this as well. Jake is getting rid of this old dress shirt. He did find some newer ones that fit him better from the company Everlane, and if you haven't checked them out before, we're fairly new to them as a company, but they're really big in transparency, so showing you the exact costs of an item, like all the different steps along the way, as well as the factories where things are produced. So I think it's pretty cool and a very cool concept. So he's getting rid of this one. This is sort of an ironic thing to talk about on a minimalist channel, but we got rid of our scanner. It's mostly because it stopped working, so that's a bummer. Now, a scanner can be really helpful if you are dealing with a lot of paper clutter and if you want to scan those paper documents to have digital copies. This is something that Jake definitely did a lot more than me. I think it ultimately depends on the person. I know for myself, yes, I want to remove the physical clutter as much as possible, but I also don't always trust digital stuff. I mean, not to sound like I'm old-fashioned, but just eventually most digital things do stop working or stop working as well. And so I don't want to, you know, put all of these important things in digital files where they could be more at risk to being destroyed than if they're chilling in the house. So I still definitely do have some of those paper type files, but also I think even just having the question of should we scan this has shifted my perspective a bit to determine, do I really want this or am I just keeping it because I feel like I should? since I feel like there were more of that one where it doesn't really add much value. It's just like, well, this was a certificate, or this seems important. I don't know, totally depends on the person, but this scanner stopped working. It was a really nice and sleek minimalist design, but it was called Scan Snap. It's not working anymore, so that's a bummer. We're gonna get rid of this. Another piece of clothing, this was a pair of old, they were like yoga capris, because I was sad when they were getting a bunch of holes. I cut off spots where the holes were, and then they were just gonna be like little shorts. But the thing is, they're not as comfortable as my other shorts. So I was trying to extend the life out of them because like the holes were too bad to try to even repair. But I think I just should have let them go earlier on. So this can go for like textile recycling. This little thing here is an apron. This was one of the little freebies or souvenirs that was given to us at the cooking class we went to in Indonesia. And we got 2 of them. We kept one at first, but then I just realized that we're not gonna use it. I don't use an apron. Maybe I should, because I'm kind of messy in the kitchen sometimes, but I don't care that much. So we're gonna get rid of this. Also along the cooking lines, I'm getting rid of this non-stick pan. It's one of the like ceramic non-stick pans, supposed to be like better for you, but here's the thing. I say non-stick with quote marks just because honestly it wasn't non-stick. I do try to not cook with too much oil, or ideally no oil at all. Maybe just use like a water saute if I'm cooking vegetables or something. But unfortunately with this, I either had to use oil, and sometimes even when I did use oil, it still didn't work. I think the biggest tragedy was pancakes, because I enjoy having pancakes like on the weekends, but you know, just even if you're using oil and the pancakes are still getting completely stuck to the pan everywhere and destroyed, honestly, like one of the worst pans I've ever used. It's not even worth me trying to use it anymore just because it's such a problem. So I think we will at some point try to get another type of non-stick pan. If you do have any recommendations, if you could put those below, I would really love to hear them. I don't want to use just like the straight up traditional non-stick pans just because of some of the health issues that are linked to that. But this was supposed to be a more sustainable, healthier option, and it just didn't work for me. So if there are other ones that do work well, just because I think that it would be helpful to have a non-stick pan, and I just want something that's a little bit better. So please let me know if you've got any recommendations, because I would love to hear them. Next up, Jake has some old books about mummies and other things from his school that he's getting rid of. One thing that I think any fellow teachers might relate to is that there are certain times where maybe a teacher's cleaning out their room and they try to pawn off their stuff on other teachers thinking that they want it. But let's be real, a lot of that stuff is not useful to anyone anymore. And so Jake kind of felt that way about some of these books here. I think the best thing to do is just to donate them and then see if there's interest there, because he didn't see them being helpful in his classroom. These are just the legs from that nightstand thing I was telling you about. Next, I'm getting rid of a pair. This is some yoga capris. They're kind of like stretchy workout pants. I did purchase these used, and I think I used them enough to kind of get the value out of what I spent on them. Kind of the interesting twist that happened, I bought them back when I was doing kind of a more intensive workout program. I was going to this place called Pure Barre, which I enjoyed a lot just financially. It was more expensive than I'd like to spend like as a long-term thing, but before the trip especially, I was trying to get a little bit more in shape and stronger before we went. And this worked well because I wore these a bunch when I was there. But as time has gone on, I realized that the pair that I prefer is one that I have from Pact actually. It's very interesting. Jake had talked about before how he can like physically feel a difference if he's wearing cotton or like synthetic fabrics. And the funny thing is, like, I didn't really buy into it as much at first, but I actually kind of feel that a little bit. Like when I was wearing these pants, they just felt itchy to me. Whereas I do have a pair of Pact ones that are organic cotton, and I love those so much better. So because of that, since this is like the worst pair and they're very similar, I'm getting rid of this one. And also, if you are someone who'd like to check out the Pact stuff, I'll actually put a link below, and there is a discount code there as well. When we got back from our trip this summer, one thing that I was trying to do was do some more reading. I do really enjoy reading. It's just I feel like I try to do too much that I don't often get to it. But I read a couple books, and one of the books that I read and am getting rid of is this new teacher book. This was a book from college, but I had wondered what it would be like sort of reading it now that I've had you know, this is my 5th year of teaching, more years of teaching perspective. So there definitely was a bit of value that came from this, but I read it and now I'm going to get rid of it. This is an old laptop case that I'm getting rid of. It served me so well, and honestly it looks pretty clean right now. It wasn't always looking that way, but my mom had actually gone to a garage sale and found a much nicer case that I like better. It's also got a little bit more room in it, so I am using that one now, but this one I will be donating. We have a couple towels here we're getting rid of. We've been doing a better job doing our laundry more regularly, so we had 8 towels and we just kept our favorite 6. So because of that, these 2 were our 2 least favorite towels, and obviously you can see there's some like discoloration here that's happened, and this one's just not that soft, so we're reducing our towel number to 6. This is a pair of old running shorts of mine. They are just a little snug, and I also don't really have much that I like to match with them since they're bright purple, so I'm getting rid of these. This is just a knife sharpener. I talked about in my Keep This Not That decluttering video. We bought a knife that has a sharpening sheath that you put it back into, and it sharpens it each time, so we don't need this anymore. This is just an extra little pair of underwear. I like the way it looked, but not the way it felt, so. And lastly, Jake also got rid of this tie. There's like a weird snag thing that he doesn't like. All right, so that wraps up our August anti-haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It ended up being quite a bit more than I had expected. As we continue moving forward, there's always new things that we're finding to declutter, and it just feels so good to keep simplifying, even though, you know, on a daily basis, it's not like we're doing any intensely active decluttering. It's still always important just to keep questioning yourselves, like, what in your space is adding value and what doesn't. We're not quite at the finish line yet where we'd like to be in terms of our living space, but I feel like each time we do one of these, it keeps getting closer to that. So that's something that is always really exciting. So thank you so much for watching. Like I said before, if you want to check out, I've got a playlist below with all of our old anti-haul videos, and I'll also link one over here. And you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, right up here. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.